Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. And well, today, let me see how my day's been and what we've been up to. I mean, thank you again for following Coffee with Caroline and my updates. And I've been getting ready really for the first ever women's retreat that we are planning. And I can't wait because today's podcast, I'm going to introduce you to my partner in this. The amazing executive coach Elizabeth Pearson, who her and I have been really, really looking forward to this. We've been talking about it for a very long time, and I tell you, it's why it's special to us. I think because obviously we're women in our 40s, but I think also because I've understood that we are really one decision away from a completely different life. And I think with the world being the way it is, and you guys have been following me, we're all going down the Hollywood rabbit hole, the wildfire rabbit hole, the Blake Lively rabbit hole. The world has just turned into this incredibly difficult, hard place to be, I think. And I think what we're trying to achieve with these retreats is to let you know that it doesn't have to be that hard, and that energy and manifesting and seeing the good, I think, in people really really can change everything overnight. And so welcome, Elizabeth, to the show. So excited to have you. We've done this once before, but here we are again, and now it's happening.
It's finally happening. These were pre-COVID dreams, right? So this manifestation has taken a while, but I think it's just going to be all the more impactful and amazing.
I think, we needed to sort of really, it needed to be the right time. I was doing Housewives. Are crazy busy with all your clients. You've written books. And I think, we decided that this would be the perfect place to start. We picked Arizona. Why? Because although this is something that we want, to have a lot of breakthroughs, it's not only about a girls' weekend. We wanted it to feel like a girls' weekend more than a coaching session, because that's very much how you and I are, I think, in life.
Yep.
So we chose Arizona so that we feel like we're on a girls' weekend together, that everybody that comes on this trip, we're in it. We're all knee deep in it.
And this resort is so fabulous and it's going to be warm. It's going to be a great escape for a lot of people. I mean, I'm in California, you're in Dubai, so we aren't exactly freezing right now, but a lot of people are. And I think it's going to be this wonderful way to just bring in the warmth and bring in the next chapter. And the resort is crazy. Like all of the classes that are included, it's not just yoga, it's mindful meditation, it's overcoming subconscious blocks. Like they have an incredible class schedule. So, yes, it's going to be us getting to really kind of like get our hands in with everybody who comes and coach and help them network and maybe bring a new perspective to some issues or some opportunities in their life. But also, it's like a sick resort where you can just lay by the pool a little bit too, right? Like, I think we know that we have to have that downtime. We can't just keep running, running, running and expect things to flow into our lives. We actually have to create a space for the allowing of those things to come. So that's what's wonderful about just getting out of our bubbles, going to a place with other like minded women, ambitious women who feel a calling for something bigger. And I think your story is so inspiring that really there's so many different scenarios in life that you can be in. You've made your way through so many of them. And I am kind of this Sherpa of these women through these dark forests of their lives. This is what I do all day. So I can tell you, nothing you could bring to this retreat would surprise me. I've done it with women. Every obstacle you can think of, we've gotten through. So I just want everybody who shows up to really feel hopeful that they can leave on Sunday, not only hopefully have made some new friends while they're there, but really feeling empowered. Because at the end of the day, that's really how we want women walking around this planet, is to feel powerful and like they're creators versus being
I
passengers.
think it's a really powerful statement too, because whoever's coming, okay, you might be looking for completely different aspects of your life, right? So I've met women this week who are divorced, who are, looking for the next chapter because of divorce, right? So maybe you got a certain amount of money in a settlement, but you don't know really how you're going to make that money work for you. And a lot of people are always surprised or kind of surprised by what they come out with at the end and what that looks like for them. So I was sitting at a dinner table the other night. There was like, one woman, she'd been married 20 years, I think, and had sort of 17 homes before. Can you believe she doesn't have one now? Nothing, nada, zip. And I think I've just bought my fourth, but like, having been down to like literally like almost bankrupt, I bought, and built everything back. And I'm looking at her like she's out of her mind. And I understand the block there is how she's got this small amount of money and she's like, she doesn't want to spend it. She doesn't want to put it anywhere. She just wants to look at it because she's so scared to lose it. And I think there are many women like that. And then when I was talking to her about how I'm doing it and how I've done it and how I've built my life back and, how I afford to have this amazing lifestyle that I have that does not come cheap, I assure you, and all the people around me that work for me and with me, she was like, "Oh my God, we should start a women's fund, right? And like have women that like me that." Put into it and we all invest together. I mean, this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm just putting that out there right now. This is not what I'm looking to do. But it was interesting because I was like, this is an intelligent, beautiful woman that comes from a very good background. And there's many women like this that just simply don't know, that are just looking for an answer. And I think that is giving women financial freedom and understanding how things work and run and not being scared of bills or seeing, maybe a mortgage as a debt versus credit card debt. And the difference between good debt and bad debt, and so many people don't actually know what that looks like, or building a business for somebody, or just taking the first step, or even asking somebody to invest in you or build with you, and all of these things. Meeting people, as you said, like-minded people. Some of the women that I knew were coming have reached out from Instagram, and I told you about these dinners that I did ages ago. I was always shocked by the level of people that came, and and that's what I think comes out of these retreats. It's, just as it's
100%.
just as much for us as it is for you, right? We meet incredible people.
Yeah, it really is. And you really hit on something because it's something I see with clients as well. The money piece is so big. So there's two sides of this, right? There's a lack of women really feeling okay about investing in themselves. So you might even be thinking about this retreat and be like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. But right now it just doesn't really work. Summer's going to come up. I should be spending it on summer camps for my kids or blah, 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 blah. Listen, we all have a million excuses and a million other things we could be spending money on. But to your point, this is an energy flow. And I think when you hold on to money and you grasp it tightly and you cling to it, it really does cut off that flow. It's a cycle and you're breaking it then. And you're telling the universe, you know what? I'm good with how my life is right now. I'm set. I actually don't think it could get any better. So I'm just going to grasp very tightly to what
I
I
used to do
have.
that
And I think right,
with
me too. It was, I mean, and I thought, oh, well, I'm just being really
even
responsible.
even with
No, you're cutting
even
it
with
off.
hiring in my business, I used to be exactly like that, going, "Oh my God, well, if I don't hire another person and I just do all the work myself and get somebody, and we just pile it on the other job to each other, we just make more money." But it doesn't work like that because it's exactly that. You cut that, you suffocate the business and you suffocate yourself and you suffocate the universe believing you deserve more.
Right. And you tell the universe, I'm good. Don't send me anymore because I'm going to hang on to what I have. I don't feel worthy or smart enough to make more, like your friend who has that little piece of money, that little, settlement or whatever she got. And she's just maybe wanting to hold on to it or put it into something that she thinks, quote unquote, is a sure thing. There are no sure
No sure
things.
things.
It's a miserable way to live, to just feel like every dollar might be the last. I think in that changes when you get in an energetic space with other women who have taken the leap. Like we just have to be more risk averse as a gender, because this is why we're having the leadership and pay gaps that we are, because women don't advocate for themselves. They don't have a deep belief in themselves that they deserve that. And we're like being tight with money, except if we want that $5,000 bag. That's okay. but I don't want to spend it on coaching or bettering myself or going back to school or any of that, you know? So we really have to like look at our priorities, because if anything this year has taught us, we cannot rely on men. Okay. You can't. You have to be out there. You have to make your own way. And if you are so reliant on a partner, it's not going to be good for the relationship. Like, you know that, right? You have to have your own things.
It's also a generation where I don't think you want to rely on a man. And a man doesn't want to rely on
Right.
you. It's a different world out there. If you're
Right.
looking for the guy that goes, "Oh, darling, I love you so much. Here's my credit card. Knock yourself out, and I'm marrying you." That those days are gone. They're gone, 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 gone. I know some of the most beautiful women in the world who are still single for that exact reason, because they are waiting, because they are not settling for less. Well, the guys aren't settling anymore for the women that just want the credit card. And if they do just want the credit card, they're called hookers. They can hire them, and they do. And which, by the way, and then I'm not putting that onto you, I'm just saying that it became very transactional. I live in Dubai, right? So they have the choice now to have the hooker and know that if I buy the $5,000 bag and I want you to leave tonight because I want to be on my own, you're going, you're leaving, and I'm going to spend the weekend to myself, and there'll be no questions asked. Now, again, chapeau to you if that's enough as out of a relationship, but I don't think that is, or that is the way to sustain your lifestyle or your life, because eventually that also grows old, as do you. So I think, all the things that I've focused on, really focused on, even, okay, Housewives even taught me this, because look, we're 2 years into Housewives and it's gone, it's paused. It may come back. It really may, but I don't know it will. And I don't, it could be another 2 years. Could be 1 year, could be 6 months. Am I meant to sit here and not make any money or not think about my future in case housewives come back? No, of course not. You can't do that. Same thing. So you need to think about passive long term income.
And I think the real, like, the real joke in this is for the women who are like, you know what? Hello, joke's on you. I'm winning. This guy's paying my rent and all of this stuff. I mean, I am, a very outspoken feminist, and I just believe in women really having total ownership over themselves, their life, their finances. And then these men can be these fabulous partners. You're happily married. I've been married to Ryan. It's going to be 18 years, together 20. It can work. It can. And you can be these wonderful supports to each other without depending on each other to the point of
Yeah,
life or
without
death, right?
drowning each
And
other.
that's these,
Without drowning each other. I
right,
mean, I remember, we talked about it. You like, you have different bedrooms because you like to have your different times, right? Again, that's your choice. So
yeah.
Ryan isn't there for the sex or the money. Let's put it that way.
No, he's
Yeah,
not.
he's there because he wants to be there, right? Ryan can get up any day he
Right.
likes and leave her, but he doesn't, because they're partners and they're friends and they're
Right.
mates first, and everything
Yeah.
else, like when they go on their dates and they have their weekends away and they do all that, that becomes their dates and everything else. But she's not, you're not asking him to buy your Chanel handbag and do all this stuff. So
No, because he knows I could go buy that myself and it would feel better. I don't know. For me, and everybody's different. And I'm not trying to pass judgment on people who love getting gifts. I love buying shit for myself. I feel a level of pride and accomplishment when I, you know, published my book and get royalties from that. Like that is, and it's not his money or my money because it's together. But for me, there is a level of respect and power. And I think it's hot that he could leave tomorrow and be fine, and I could leave tomorrow and be fine. And we've talked about that. If it gets to the point where we're not enjoying this, we're not having fun, bye. Like it's not this total dependence on each other. And I feel like women out there, to your point, because you encounter them, I encounter them, it can be a metaphor for their job too. There's so many women who are identified with their job. Oh, I have this title or this is my company. And then, okay, but what if that folds one day, right? Or goes on pause like Housewives? Then
and
where
we're,
are
we're
you?
looking
You have to have a go bag. You have to be able to
we're
diversify here.
looking at a crazy, crazy, crazy time in the world. All of these things are
Yeah.
possible now. So more and more things need to depend on you, and you having the power within you, and you having the confidence, even if you need to stand up one day at our age. And like, how many times have I pivoted in life? Learning to pivot, learning not to feel shame. Like, you maybe say you're in finance, or say you're in, a career change that you never saw coming, and you feel like it's a failure, the change. But that's again a mindset of being able to change and adapt to the new world that we're all finding ourselves in.
Yeah. So, what are you most excited about going on at the retreat? I know I've got something that I'm really looking forward to, but is there any one thing that you're really kind of like visualizing and getting excited about?
I don't know. I always get really nervous just before. Like, I've done a lot of these as tours. I've done business ones, male ones before, that I've been a guest on and done them and met. I got so nervous when I did my dinners and I didn't know who was going to show up. But then I think my favorite part is sitting down with the women, because we're keeping this deliberately small, and hearing everybody's story and feeling that like you impacted someone's life, because I've stayed in contact with every single one of those people that came to my VIP dinner. One of every single one of them that came and to one of the trips that I did, and I feel like I've impacted their lives in some way.
Absolutely. I'm there's no doubt on that. I agree. I'm really excited just to kind of see everybody maybe on the first night on Thursday when we get there for the happy hour and learn, because I think that everybody's stories are
Yes.
powerful and deserve to be told on some level. And I think when the women start to share a little bit about what brought them here, it's going to be amazing, the through lines and the similarities that we find within everybody. And I think, the universe just sends the right people at the right time. So I do feel like there's going to be an aspect of divinity in this, of like who comes and shows up. But I'm really excited. So Thursday night, we've got the dinner and the happy hour, the welcome. And then everybody will retire to their fabulous rooms. And then on Friday is when we're really going to kind of get into it. And we've got a great meeting space reserved. Everybody's going to come. Everybody's going to have a chance to,
Talk.
tell their story, where they are, what they want to work on. And what's wonderful is it's not only you and I who can offer these insights, but it's going to be this wonderful peer coaching
It's like a
opportunity. So
hot
I always like
seat.
to say, yes,
Hot seat.
it's like a board of
Yes.
advisors. You're going to have 20 women around here, no doubt powerhouses, who are going to be like, "Oh yes, I know somebody in da 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 that could help you," or "This is what I did
Mm-hmm.
when I was in that
Mm-hmm.
situation." So to me, I just feel so confident, to your point, that it's going to be a game changer for people, that by the time, and then Saturday is going to be open, right? Explore the resort. There's going to be some options for some small breakouts with you and I, no more than 5 people in each, so we can dig a little deeper. But then you can explore and enjoy the resort. And the package that we've negotiated is insane. I mean, this room rate is like a third of what it normally is. So we've also negotiated in like room credits and things like that for you to spend at the spa and spend at the coffee bar, because everybody's going to want their matcha and their lattes before we get together. It's really like pack, some yoga pants, maybe a sundress, and your toothbrush, and you're good to
I
go,
really
because
wanted
it's just going
to
to be,
have a pajama moment too. I don't know why. I want
yes,
fabulous. I
let's do
wanted
it.
like red wine. I see us in red wine, Uggs, and pajamas. I don't even know if they've got a campfire. I haven't had a time to look
They
properly,
do.
but I kind of want.
They have a big
That's
fire
what I
pit.
wanted, like red wine,
Yeah,
pajamas, and that. And, and just download. Like, I think there's a power in downloading on women that you don't know, right? Friends
yeah,
and family always, always have some sort of like, not connection. How do you say that? Some sort of, they want something for you specifically, right?
right.
And so sometimes their advice isn't, if, say you want to get divorced, let's say divorce is your mission to come and see us, or life after divorce. Sometimes it's beneficial for you not to get divorced for the people around you, or people are talking you out of it for years and talking you out of your new choices because it doesn't suit them. Whereas, I think there's a power of being with a whole load of women that might have been through it, even though some of those women may not be there for divorce, they may be for some other reason. I think there's a power in the knowledge or hindsight of other women. And that will be the most powerful thing. I actually went to one myself and they had these hot seat moments. And I actually couldn't believe how powerful they were, because that's something that was a little out of my comfort zone, which, kind of felt like I was like, I've never been to one of these meetings before, never been opened up to people I didn't know. But then, and then when I asked to go last because I didn't want to be in it at all. And then actually, by the time I got to it, I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I actually, all the way through these other women talking, I was taking notes and like figuring out how I was going to take my business to the next level. So I do think they are
Yeah.
incredibly important.
There's no ulterior
Yeah.
motives, right? It's like this is an objective group. And not only that, I mean, this is what I do, for anybody who's not super familiar with me, this is what I do every week. And I do it under the scope of like just women who've gotten together to be in like a group coaching, but then also corporate coaching groups. Confidentiality is going to be of the utmost importance. I want everybody to feel like this is a safe space to share. So we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure everybody feels really comfortable, because they could say, listen, I own this business. I can't come to this and just lay it all out on the table. If we have to have some, agreement or something that everybody signs that we don't talk, that's fine. I'm happy to provide those. We just want you to feel like you can go deep quickly. Like, because you and I think the reason that we can connect with people is because we just cut through the bullshit really quick, right? This isn't going to be like a big coddling session of like, well, I don't know. It's like, yes, you can use, compassion and empathy in the way you deliver things, but at the same time, to your point, you might need an objective reflection of what's actually going on, right? Like, what is stopping you from making these changes that your soul is nudging you to make? And that's the beauty too, is like we can get in there, we can assess what's going on, create a roadmap, and then you won't do the hugs. I'll do a nice big hug before you go. And then not only that, but we've explored too, how do we keep this going, right? No doubt everybody's going to feel connected. And I've done wonderful retreats and it's great. And then you go home and then 2 weeks later, it starts to wear off. And you're like, oh, I'm falling back into that pattern. Well, we don't want that to happen. So there will be an option to get together with this group again. It could be month to month if we want to, but we'll provide some options so that everybody can stay in touch and there's continued support if you want it.
I think it's just, once we get there, I think again, it's something that will just naturally unfold and just does. And I think that you have to be ready, by the way. This is not the retreat for someone umming and ahhing that's been doing this for a long time. You have to be really, really ready to change. And some women just aren't, or they think they are, but they, always go back. Unless you're ready to commit and do this, and we give you the tools, it's not going to work for you. You need to be really, really, really want this. I get phone calls and DMs all the time about, and I think this is a big word, purpose. What's my purpose? A lot of these women, also the women that come and that are attracted to these things, they are successful. They do have good lives, but something isn't fulfilling them. We have all sat with everything that should make us happy around us. I sat in a giant house with the perfect husband and the three kids and all the staff around me. And I'm like I remember sitting in Thailand in a hotel going, this just isn't where I'm meant to be. And I think you need to from there, by the way, it took me another, God knows, couple of years to actually make the leap. But there was one day I just turned that switch and I was like, today's the day. And you need to be on that day to come
Yeah,
and do this.
I agree. I think that we have that voice inside us that's nudging us. And that was your voice saying, you know what, something's not quite right. This isn't it. And I mean, I always say it's a her, right? She's in there and she's nudging you because she wants to experience something else. And one of two things is going to happen. She's going to get louder and then she's going to start to break shit, right? This is when somebody might, make a crazy decision or do something that feels like a self sabotage. Or the worst case scenario here is that she just gives up. She becomes apathetic and she stops trying to get you to do the thing, right? Maybe it's the business. Maybe it's making new friends in a new community you're in. Whatever it is, what we don't want is for her voice to die. So that's why I always say we're going to sit her right in your lap and we're going to listen to her. And this is your soul. This is your guidance system that a lot of time it gets shushed because we're out here making money. We're checking the box. We're doing the stuff. No, 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 no. This weekend, she's coming here and she's going to feel safe and she's going to open up. And then once you tell us, this is the other thing, this is the accountability part. Once you tell us, we're making a plan for you to do it. Because clients come to me, and the metaphor I use is it's like they're on the edge of the diving board and they've been there and they've been kind of bouncing for a while. I will fucking shove you off. We're going. We're not going back to this place because this place is suffering. You being in indecision and unclear, like when you were in Thailand, you were suffering. And it doesn't look like quote unquote suffering because you're in a beautiful surrounding. It's a
It's a
cage.
horrible,
We're all living in
horrible
cages.
cage, and it's somewhere. What I call it is like living in limbo. You're living in limbo because you know this isn't your life. You know that you're just going through the motions, but this is not where you're meant to be. It's
Yeah.
so loud, and you're absolutely right because the next place from there, sadly, is self sabotage. And I think I also recognize that in women going through divorce, about to go through divorce, acting out, having had babies, like it's so easy to see in women when they're at self sabotage mode and that just can't face what they know they have to do because they're scared. But, there's nothing
Right.
worse. Nothing the other side of fear is worse than where you're living right now. Nothing. I can assure you of that. I don't know how to hold anyone's hand. And if you can't come on this trip, I'd like to tell you that just for free. Nothing will ever be
Yes.
worse than where you're living today.
It's not because it's the restlessness of your soul, right? And it will just get worse. It will get worse or it will die. I love what you said, though, too. I think something powerful happens when you get around other women and the intimacy of this group, right? We purposely kept it super small. I mean, you've gone and spoken to thousands, right, in large arenas and things like that. It could have been like hey, we just go on stage and we give a 1 hour, here's what you do, everybody get your journals out and then go
Hmm.
home. That wasn't the vibe though, because to your point, if we want to create an impact, you have to start really developing a new routine. And that's something that we can figure out, right? Like that's my jam is like how tactically are you going to implement this stuff? So it isn't just, warm and fuzzies and what are we going to manifest? It's okay, great. But then what happens on Monday when you go home, right? Like what's actually going to change? And then the beauty of having the small group is they can be accountability buddies too. No doubt these women are going to connect and make new friendships. To your point, then it's like, oh, okay, Shelly and Ashley are going to check in with each other next week to see where we are on this. So I think that's this bigger piece is the point of having it in this kind of setup was important for us because we don't want it to be just like a quick hit one off. It really needs to be something that feels like a lasting support network.
Yeah, I think that that is exactly what happened with the groups that I've done before. They now, I mean, one woman, her father had died actually, and she had, I can't remember, she had left, he'd been left some money. She didn't want to spend it on all of these things, and then she came and she said it's completely changed her life and her outlook and the way she thinks about things and the power she has within because she felt, I think she felt so small that she couldn't do anything on her own and alone. And I think, with if you are alone, that's okay. If you're not alone, that's also okay. There isn't really today one that's better than the other, is I think the point. You know, and I think
Right.
what I want to show you is there really isn't. If you want to have lovers, have lovers. You want to have a relationship, have a relationship. If you don't have a relationship, you're not less than. You just need to be smart and you just need, to know how to get about or go about maintaining a life and a lifestyle as a woman alone today, which there are many. I was just talking to one of the PR girls from one of the big resorts near here, and she said you should do a podcast on females, on single females traveling, because this year this is a huge, huge topic. And I was like, oh, because there you go. I probably wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have thought about going to travel by myself and sitting in a restaurant by myself and doing all the things by
Yeah.
myself. But more and more people are having to do that because we live in a very different world today. And then to accept that, oh, I'm going to enjoy this holiday by myself. And by the way, you might start talking to the person next to you and it doesn't become that weird anymore. So it's getting your
Right.
balls.
100%. And I love that for the retreat. There's been a lot of people who've already signed up and they're coming solo. So if you're on the fence and you're like, oh, I want to go, but I really need my girlfriend to go
No,
with
you
me.
don't.
I would really implore you. I would really implore you. Sometimes it's better to come to these things by yourself because it does. It kind of gives you permission and nudges you to meet other people and to make those connections. And you and I are not scary. I mean, we're going to be there. And I mean, once I get a hold of you, we're instant friends. And I just don't want anybody to feel a little trepidatious about like coming on their own because I think that might be the sweet spot is like to actually just do this for yourself
I
by yourself.
started doing these things well, I mean, okay, obviously I was with Sergio when I went to the Himalayas, but we didn't know anyone going on this trip, and there was 20 something people, and we didn't have one person. And trust me, Sergio wasn't top of my priority list as I climbed that mountain. You're in your own world. Like you're literally in your own world.
Right.
And that is actually a very powerful thing that I did for myself. That was one of the most expensive trips I've ever taken, weirdly, considering I was on top of a mountain with nothing. But when I got there, I was like, this is exactly that. I was like, oh, I'll go. I didn't know what to expect. I have made friends from that, walking up that mountain, that I will never forget, who are in my life now. So weirdly, I mean, this is really bizarre. Of all the people I met, the owner of one of the largest restaurant groups there is, Bulldozer Group. They own like Cipriani, Scalini. Like he has 210 restaurants, I think, over here, and in England. I met I didn't meet him here in Cipriani and Gaia or in any of these fancy restaurants. And we are very weird bedfellows as in friends, but like very strange friends to have because like I don't think we'd be so close friends if we hadn't met on that
Right.
mountain. And you talk
100%.
differently. You are going through a struggle. So my point is that was something that I um didn't expect, but they're still in my lives. And there's like two or three other people from that trip that I still talk to. Not everyone, that's okay. But like, because,
Right.
you shared moments, you sat around a campfire, you got through the hard times, sort of helped each other on. And I know obviously we're not going up a mountain. But it was something that I didn't think I would want to do. Oh, and then you have like embarrassing moments too, right? Like I had to poop on that mountain with no trees and like God knows what that I hadn't thought about, right? And the only commodity you have up there
Right.
is loo roll. I mean, luckily there'll be toilets and
Yeah.
bathrooms for all of you guys coming. But
Yes.
my point is that you can't think about that. This is not like I could say, I don't want to share this. I don't, I mean, obviously I didn't want to share that, but, the fact is
Right.
those things and all of that, everyone is supportive. Everyone's going, it's not that, you're in a place of, it's kind of when you're stripped of everything, it kind of brings out the best in people. And I think that's,
Yeah. When you're
yeah,
raw.
and the authenticity. And
Yeah.
that's what this um, time, I think, is missing in people, the connection that you're able to
Yeah.
to make with people. Today is very, very difficult to make these connections because we live in such a fast world, because it's such an insular world with Instagram and everything looks so fucking perfect. And it's not.
I love that you said that because we've gotten to know each other just, on like late night Zooms and stuff because of the time difference. And I think what we understand too is, yeah, we have great lives. There's things that are amazing, but there are things that are messy too, right? Like it's not this filtered lifestyle. And I think that's what's wonderful is when women can get together and share that. What are the hardships? And I will tell you, the women that have already signed up, like a lot of them are business owners, right? So I think that this is wonderful, especially if you think maybe I should write a book. I can help you with that. Maybe I should start this business. We can talk about that. I'm not sure about this friendship. I'm not sure about my relationship with my parents, all of this stuff. Like when I tell you, between the two of us, we've been through it, or we've worked and helped people through it. I think people can feel very confident that whatever they're coming with to work through, we can work through it. And this is like an intensive. People sign up and work with me for 6 months, and we talk every 2 weeks for an hour. Dude, this is in the deep end. This is 3 days. We are in it. So this is a great retreat for people who like just want to get on with it, right? Like come in, figure this shit out, give me the roadmap, give me the community moving forward, and I'm just going to go do it. You can do that, or you can work for 6 months with a coach, an hour every other week. So I think that's the beauty of this too, is like if you want to go further faster, it's good to just kind of like dive in the deep end with us this long, fabulous weekend, meet some incredible other women, and then get on with
And
it.
enjoy yourself. And that's it. And that's really all
Yeah.
these are about. So, I want to give you all the tools. And I think this is where, when you asked me what my purpose was, and I've been searching for, this was it. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I enjoy doing. I love meeting all of you. I cannot wait. Elizabeth cannot wait. And we're very, very, very happy to take you on this journey, hopefully with us in Phoenix, Arizona. I've never
Yeah.
been. Arizona, here we
Oh,
come.
it's so great. I was just telling you, a girlfriend of mine was just at this resort and she vouched that it's incredible. The spa is incredible. I think we just really want everybody to feel super pampered. Like, just let us take care of it. We're going to create a wonderful, safe space so you can really kind of crack open if need be. But I do think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. So I'm really excited to be able to meet
So
everyone.
no topic is off the limits. Bring your notebooks and, look, if you can't come, there's always another one. We love you. But we wanted to explain a little bit more as to what we're trying to do here and why it's so important. Because I think, again, I want a community. You guys are my community. You guys come every week. You listen to what I have to say. And, the feedback I get is so positive. So I love you all. Thank you. And by the way, press subscribe. Elizabeth, how do they all, I'm sorry, subscribe. Yeah. What's it called? I've got my words have gone. Is it subscribe? Yes. Press subscribe because it's so important. Yeah, when you talk too much, I've got brain freeze. It's 9 o'clock at night and I've lost my mind.
It's
Yeah.
late. Yeah.
And I love you all. Stay on this journey with us, and we will update you anyway because we'll do more of these. You can send in questions for Elizabeth as well if you have any for her, and if there's anything that you want answered on this, you can DM us. Elizabeth, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is Instagram at coach.elizabeth.pearson. And in my profile, there is a direct hyperlink to the retreat page. So this is going to like really go through the agenda, Caroline, right? Like, what are we doing each day? I mean, a lot of people really want to know specifics. That's all there. That breaks down the cost. But like you said, you know, ask questions. If you're curious and you're like, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not to the point of really committing. Reach out. One of our assistants or ourselves will answer the question, and we'll make you feel comfortable. We want everybody to feel 100% excited and really see this as something to look forward to and a game
I'm
changer.
jumping up and down. So grab your Uggs,
Yeah.
grab your PJs, come meet us in Arizona. And thank you again for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored.